Several years ago, a nutritionist, dietitian, once said in my presence that all older adults are either pre-diabetic or diabetic. Honestly, I got very angry with her. I strongly disagreed with her. I said, how can you say that all the older adults in their 60s are either pre-diabetic or diabetic? But several years after, I've come to agree to some extent with what that dietitian/nutritionist said. And in case you are an older adult and coming across this video, I want to share in this video some foods you should start mandatorily to include in your diet if you don't want that tag diabetic or diabetes. Because the older you get, whether you believe it or not, if you like, come and comment and say your grandfather is 100 and this, your grandmother is 100 and this. Whether you believe it or not, the older you get, the less your body is able to manage sugar and carbohydrates. The older parents you're talking about, go give them certain food. They will reject it. Some of the foods that some of us are craving for today, they will not accept it. They won't take certain food unless you add vegetable to it. They are not educated, but they know these things. And so if you want to avoid that, I want to share some superfoods that you can start including in your diet if you are an older adult or you have a mom or dad that is over or in their 50s or 60s. You can send them the message. Listen to the list of foods, spices you should start including to help your body manage sugar effectively so that you will not carry that tag, diabetes or pre-diabetic. Number one is cinnamon. Cinnamon is a natural spice that helps our body to produce insulin. It's a natural taste enhancer. In addition to this, it supports heart health and several benefits. But one of the most important reasons why I include it daily in my diet, both as a spice or adding it to my teas, is because of its effect on the blood sugar and the insulin. Number two is cloves. Cloves is a powerful antibacterial and antifungal food. In case you don't know some of this, just look at the cloves. Just to remind you, it's one of the most important spices you should be including in your diet if you don't want to carry that tag, say superfood. If you don't want that tag, diabetic or pre-diabetic, it doesn't matter whether it's not in your family history. I've come to agree with that statement. Start including anti-inflammatory foods like ginger on a regular basis. If you don't want the tag, diabetic or pre-diabetic. Start including foods like turmeric on a regular basis. Yes, apart from leafy greens, these are the foods you should be consuming. Okra. In case you don't like okra like myself, you have no choice. Your health confess. I didn't used to like okra. It's one of the worst soups. But today, because of my body insulin activity and all the rest about my health, it's become one of the top soups I make regularly because of its ability to help regulate blood cholesterol and blood sugar. In addition to all of this, occasional green tea, it's a great support, not regular. Occasional, black tea, occasional coffee. You may not like these foods. Yes, in fact, I hated foods like coffee several years ago. But as you get older, you don't have to eat these foods because you love them. You have to consume them moderately because of your health. The tag diabetics, a lot of people carry it today due to ignorance. And so because of this ignorance, that's why I'm educating you that start including these foods I mentioned. As a spice in your soup stews, start including them. Negro pepper is a good one too. Start including negro pepper. In case you are not familiar with it, go to markets, black seed, they ask them, negro pepper. Occasionally, don't overdo it because it has tendency to also, heighten blood pressure if you are predisposed or you are someone that can easily get high blood pressure. So rosemary, occasionally, just add some of these spices to help reduce inflammations, to help support your immune system. Don't say you don't like it. Garlic is one of the top foods. If you don't want the name diabetes or pre-diabetic, you must start using it as a spice and then taking it occasionally, because it's one of the top foods that supports your heart health. It's one of the top foods that also help fight inflammations and bacteria too. It's a blood thinner, and such blood thinners are great for managing ailments like diabetes and high blood pressure because of stroke. When you hear that people suffer stroke, most times because of ignorance. When arteries are clogged, what do? Clogged arteries. You start consuming foods like pomegranate, fresh tomatoes. They are great for unclogging those arteries. You can't just leave them and say, I'm not a diabetic, I'm not diabetic. These are some of the complications. You need to start including some of these food that you used to hate or you don't like, just like myself. Start including these spices, my dear. They are great for your blood. Mixed tea is one of them. Bitter cocoa is one of them. You may not like some of them that are bitter. Occasional guava leaf tea, boil it and drink if you have access to it. Bitter leaf and other bitter foods, occasionally take them if you don't want that diabetes. Now some people may come to the comment section like they did before and start saying, Mommy, are you diabetic? Or some are even saying, I'm diabetic. It is because of such comments that I'm telling you that if you have a mom that is up to 60 or about to clock 60 like myself, you don't have to wait, my love. You don't have to wait. You don't have to say she's not diabetic and start giving her high carb, high sweet, high sugar foods and say nothing will happen. My dear, something will definitely happen unless you start including these foods, unless you start including healthy fats, unless she starts including or monitoring the kind of fats in his or her diet. That's exactly the way to be free from it. Some people are asking whether it's reversible. If you start including these foods over time, gradually, your insulin, everything will begin to pick up. I have seen diabetics, full-blown diabetics, I've managed them, stop using drug and perfectly okay. People with foot ulcers, stop medications and relying only on natural foods. You don't need to, be troubled if you are being diagnosed diabetic or not diabetic. But the good news is that if you start including this food, these spices regularly in your diet, if you are an older adult, if you are in your 50s or your 60s, you don't need to worry too much about your blood sugar. Other foods like chia seeds, they are great also to strengthen your bones and manage your sugar. Fenugreek seeds, they are great for you. They may not crash your blood sugar like medications will do, but they help to control inflammations and lower the blood sugar, in a gentle way, not in a rush. Fennel seeds, I do take it occasionally as tea. You can't take all the teas and all the spices and all the remedies you see online. But occasionally, once in a while, you include these foods because you are aware that your body is no longer able to manage sugar the way it used to do several years back. And it continues to go like that. And unless you start doing these things, it won't be long. Obvious signs of diabetes will begin to show up. You wouldn't like to bear that name, just like I wouldn't either, to be called a diabetic or pre-diabetic. Start doing this thing because we believe in prevention. If you like this message, why not click the follow button for more?